Hi, this is Kristen Howe. Welcome, everybody. You're going to experience an amazing call today with our special guest, Mas Sajady. Now, Mas is a life energizer, infinite healer, and intuitive consultant. Through 2 near-death experiences, Mas was gifted with astonishing healing abilities. Thousands have benefited from this natural phenomenon in their health, relationships, financial, and spiritual arenas of life. In fact, 99% of Mas's clients report positive change with his healings. And he is one of the fastest growing healers, all due to the most credible source of all, which is client referrals. The Mas method goes far beyond the latest craze in self-help and spirituality to get tangible, rapid results. And Mas helps people all over the world to be instilled with the pure and awaken their internal GPS to automatically and effortlessly be guided toward their fulfilling lives. Now, today's call is going to be absolutely chock full. In fact, Mas let me know, to get in there and ask him the deep questions because he's not afraid of them, and I love that. So I'm really excited to share that with you. Some of the stuff we're going to talk about is, how you can transform your life effortlessly in your health, relationships, spirituality, well-being, and love. We'll talk about what the pureness is and how to get instilled with it. We will go through, talking about manifesting abundance in all the areas of your life and energizing your inner core for rapid achievement. And we'll also talk about how you can live in a state of well-being and choose a vibrant, healthier you. So, Mas, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to be able to share this with everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this call.
Kristen, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure talking to you before the session. Before the call. So we've got good vibration together, and I look forward to talking to your listeners.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this as well, and I know that everybody now is listening going, wait a minute, two near-death experiences. So can you give us a little of your background and amazing story, just so everybody is, I'm sure, wanting to know more?
Sure. Well, first of all, I just want to explain that, for 20-some years, Kristen, I was a programmer. I had my own web development company, so I wasn't into spirituality, although I was always intuitive, even
Sure.
since when I was a little kid. I never got into spirituality. I don't know what a lot of things even mean now. They tell me the solstice or whatever. So I don't know all the details.
Okay.
And maybe that's better that way because I'm just like a newbie coming into this reality, so I see it a little differently. And maybe that's why I'm so powerful. But so I wasn't looking for anything into that spiritual realm. But we went on a cruise because I used to work so many days, and we decided to go on a cruise. And so we took the family along, and we went to Belize, and we had this inner tubing experience that we could go on. And Christian, sometimes when things are supposed to happen in your life, it just does. Okay, and just let me give you a clue. First of all, when we booked the inner tubing package on the cruise, we tried to book it, but it was oversold, so we couldn't get on to it. Okay, we were really bummed out. But then what happened was we get off the ship, and we're kind of just moping around because we didn't know what to do. We didn't want to go shopping again, So, but as soon as we walked out, there was this guy holding a sign with the exact inner tubing package. And the cool thing about that was it was just for 6 people. And that's how many we were, my wife, me, my 4 kids. And it's like everybody else passed that by. It's like they didn't even see this person there. As if we were the only ones that were supposed to see him, So that was clue number 1. And then, we signed up and it was half the price. So we didn't want to pass that up. So, it takes about an hour to get into the jungle and then another hour walk, to get to the river through the jungle. And the jungle is just totally, it's just picturesque. It's gorgeous. They got all the birds chirping, you hear animal noises in the background, everything is just so beautiful. And I was mesmerized, and we get to the river, and we were thinking it was going to be just a family-filled, slow-moving river. It was one of the fastest rivers I've ever seen. And they even had a rope across just in case you fell in, you could hold on to it, because if you didn't, you'd get washed away. So we're going, this isn't that much of a family deal. But anyway, So we get ready. They hand out the inner tubes, and and then they hand out the life jackets. And then clue number 2 was that by the time they got to me in this group, they ran out of life jackets. So I was the only one on the group that didn't have a life jacket. Okay. I said, well, I'm a pretty strong swimmer. I can handle it, and we're just going to be on inner tubes anyway. Right? So I went along with that. And as we're getting on into the river, the guide tells us that you have to keep your feet interlocked, because if you don't, you might go away from the group, and if you do, you might get sucked into these. I think they call it cenotes or something like that. The sinkholes, basically sinkholes in the river, where underground rivers and waterfalls are fed from. Okay. So basically, that's what happened. Then clue number 3: as soon as we get into the river and we start interlocking feet, it's like the jungle just goes quiet. And, and I noticed that. I'm going, why is everything so quiet? I mean, there was no animal noises, no birds chirping. The wind had just totally stopped. And I'm thinking, how can that be? It was just so unusual, just like a movie scene when something's about to happen. And so we get out into the river, and within a minute, something happens. I have to unlock my feet, and I start drifting off right away, and I get sucked into basically this sinkhole. And what it is these rocks that jut out, and they have a man-sized hole cover, about that size, that feed these underground rivers. And I got sucked into one of those, just literally got pulled out of my inner tube, and I was in this tunnel, and I was trying to crawl out, but I couldn't because the water pressure was so great. I was, I had my fingernails, they were pulled off, and my back was all bloody because, I was pushing against the walls just to stay where I was so I wouldn't get sucked in even further. But, you can only hold your breath so long. And that's when things started really happening for me. I mean, it was just amazing. You say, goodbye to all your loved ones and all that stuff. And then, you just let go. And that's all you can do. And that, what happened was just beyond belief. It was I transcended my body. And unlike the first time, my first near death where I saw my life, go by in real time. So basically you live your life in real time, within a flash of a second. So there's no time and distance, obviously, because how can you feel all the feelings and all that stuff, 20 some years of life in a flash, right? So nothing like that happened this time. This time what happened was it was this perfect realm, and it was beautiful. It was this beautiful slate blue, and there was no time, there was no distance, and I felt totally full and totally complete. And if you could imagine the amount of love that I felt, it's like any joyous moment that you've ever had. You multiply that by a couple million times. That's the extent of the love that you feel. It's that enormous, and it's just unbelievable. Almost makes you want to kind of cry, because it's just so beautiful, at that level. And I didn't need anything. You think you always you need your kids or you need your wife or this and that. Nothing at all. Nothing, no finances. You don't think about the past. You don't think about the future. It's just the present state. It's just, you just are. And you're totally complete by yourself. And then within a snap, I found myself about 50 yards above the river in a quieter shallow. So how I got from there to, in a quieter shallow, obviously, divine intervention. But I don't know how that happened, that physical movement. But because there was no human intervention because they couldn't get to me. But and I was underwater, according to my wife, for about 8 to 10 minutes on that time. So. Wow. I don't know how that happened, Kristen, but somebody loves me up there, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but when we get onto the ship, which is amazing, is that, I started seeing things after we're done with the crying and, reuniting and all that, we go to dinner, right? And And as they were walking, down the hallway, it was like I could see these people, and they were fuzzy. And I'm going, and I kept rubbing my eyes, thinking, well, maybe I cried too much, or maybe there was something in the water, that made my eyesight fuzzy. I'm going, wow, I didn't think anything of it. But when the funny thing was when I look at inanimate objects, they were totally clear. So we get into the dining room, and there's hundreds of people in there, right? And that's when, like, as soon as we open the door and we get in, it's like, what happens is that I didn't see the individuals per se. Basically, I saw their spirit. And the spirit is like, if you stick your arms out, that's how big your spirit is all the way around you. And so I saw that, and with that, I could look at somebody, and I could tell. It was just like I was connecting instantaneously to them, and just had a knowing about their life. And I have never met these individuals, but, it's like I know, it's like I could feel what they were like, taste, dislikes, things like that. If they were having, like, liver issues, kidney issues, it's like I could scan their body and go, oh, this guy's got a bad back or whatever. And that kept coming, no matter who I looked at. And I'm going, God, what is going on? I thought I was going crazy. And I actually told my wife that too. I go, God, I'm hearing these voices. She's going, well, it's okay. It's been a stressful day. So I didn't think anything of it. Nothing really big happened after that. But 4 months later, I started getting depressed, because everything was so light up there, and you get into this denser state, and you have issues here and where everything's perfect there. So you naturally, and that's your natural state, actually. So you're actually attracted to that pureness state as well. So, I started getting depressed, but then I also got drawn into like a series of meditations. And from these meditations, I was gifted with, a lot of knowledge from a lot of questions, things like that a lot of us have, a lot of religious questions, things like that were answered, a lot of, fundamental knowledge that, we kind of live our lives by, but never really understood why. So things like that happened. And then also, I was gifted to tapping into those higher realms where I can actually, reprogram you at a spirit level, versus this energy level where a lot of people are in, like the Reiki type healers or other type of healers that are out there. They're at a medium type level, but it's like I got surpassed and went into that highest level, that we can really go in this physical entity or this physical body. So I can literally manipulate, you at your spirit level, and that's where the people get the rapid results or these unbelievable stories that they email me with. And from there, my first, client was my wife. She used to get these headaches all the time, which debilitated her. And, one day I just said, well, let me work on you. And I didn't even know what that meant, but it was just so automatic. Just like getting into meditation, it was so automatic for me. It was just like I was guided. And I wrapped my hands around her head, and within a minute, her headache was gone. And, I looked at her and she looked at me and God, my headache's gone. And I'm going, wow, that's pretty cool. It happened again. I put my hands on her and, it went away. And this was the stuff, her headaches were really bad. They were like prescription type medication that didn't really help her. So it was at that level. I started research to doing on what was I into, and the closest thing I could come was a quantum type, quantum physics, quantum healing, that kind of stuff. But it goes far beyond, the normal quantum healing that we might recognize. So, I started working on family, then friends of friends, and then strangers would call me up. It's like, you did this for somebody, and they helped them so much. Can you help me do this? So, and then that's how it's turned into a business. And through that, I've been working on thousands and thousands of people.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so, luckily at this point, there's been enough exposure. So what makes your healing different than some of the other healers out there?
I think it's the level of purity, actually, that comes through. Because a lot of times, and that's what a lot of people come and tell me, come back and tell me, or, psychics or people who can read, who are really intuitive. They come and they go, your energy is like the purest I've seen, or the most solid I've ever seen. So,
interesting.
So and that's the feedback that I get, because I want to know what's going on, because I'm really inquisitive. I'm a programmer, so I need stuff that works. I need proof that the stuff works.
Wow. Okay. I like that.
So, and then I think another reason is that when I work on people, I get to the core foundation. And people have gone to other healers or some other fact, and, they get some results, things like that. But, when they come to me, it's like they get like rapid, much faster results without a lot of issues behind it or things to do. It just like transforms them rather than, okay, you have to go home and do this, or you have to do this or that. It's just like they get an infusion or an installation of a frequency that corrects that issue, and then they just live it out.
Wow, very cool. Okay, so you talked about pureness. Can you tell me, describe to us a little more of what pureness is?
Okay. Pureness, I guess the other word is God, but I don't like to use God because, it's been tainted so much. In my definition of that pureness is basically that source where everything is created from and everything goes back to. Okay. So no matter if you're like an animal or a person or whatever it is, it or the darkness, that dark energies, things like that, people talk about, it's all created from that one source. Okay. And when you connect to that source, everything works for you. Everything is provided. If you realize, like, for example, animals, right? Everything is provided for them naturally. It's that abundance that they live in, right? So whatever that source is, created for you, it creates the abundance that helps you survive as well, if you want it. And that's the difference between what makes us humans and, animals, because they're naturally connected to it, so they naturally have that abundance all the time, and they're in that present state. Okay? But humans, they've got that, thought process where they can disconnect from it if they want.
Okay. And that makes complete sense. So how do we do that? How do we transform our lives? And you even said, effortlessly. So in our health, our relationships, spirituality, all of those good areas that we're all like, how do we do that? And deal with the fact that we're human. How do we do that? Right.
A lot of times, Kristen, we lose ourselves being human, because we think we're all this all-powerful being, and we can really change our destinies by having like more positive motivation, or setting goals, or thinking positive, or hanging around positive people and all that. But how many of those self-help books? I mean, I used to read a ton of them. Never really helped. Here and there, bits and pieces. But how many self-help books have been out there, and how many of those people actually, get help from those? Or even like you go to a chiropractor, for years and years and years, right? And they can't, and they still have that issue, right? Or whatever it is. But what happens is instead of like goal setting or setting intentions or anything of that nature, you can do this yourself. I can help you a lot faster connecting because I've been there before, so I can it's like, well, this is the way, type deal. But basically, it's like you just ask, how do I connect to the pure source? And that's it. So whether you're doing your meditation, whether, you don't have any other intentions, you don't go, okay, today, I'm going to meditate on feeling better, because, I mean, think about it. If you're a creator, right? Even at the mindset of like you're the creator of your life, you say, okay, today I'm thinking about feeling better. Well, that just programmically, I mean, I'm a computer guy, so it's like in your first position, you're not feeling good now, but you want to feel better.
Right.
Right? Does that make sense? So it's like you go back to that mindset, and the universe creates that not feeling better part. Or I want more money. right?
Yeah.
So obviously, you're lacking money now. That's because you want more money. So what do you get? And what do you focus on? Or what do you worry on? You know?
Right.
The thing of not having money, or that thing of not feeling good, or that thing of, oh, this event is not going to go good for me. Whatever. Well, that's what gets created. I mean, if you have that mindset anyway, right? So if you let go of that, or if you do the other mindset, it's like, gosh, you know, I want this event to be good. You know, if you're like public speaking is, you know, scary for a lot of people. It's like, so when you do that, it's like, well, it seems like you're going to mess up anyway. And that's what you're creating by goal setting, really. So instead of all that stuff, you know, you just connect to that pure source, just by saying, how do I connect to the pure source? And just focus on that all day long, you know, or whenever you get that chance, just focus on, how do I connect to that pure source? And you'll start to see that your spirit actually comes in, because that's what wants, that's this transition of, you know, where we're more connected, where we start to see the physical reality through our spiritual eyes. And that's basically what you're doing. So when you start saying that, you know, your spirit comes around your body more, and it just literally just guides you to where you need to go or where you want to go. And that's what you want anyway. You know, because when you set goals or set intentions or want this or that, first of all, we don't know what we want, really, you know, if you think about it. And then second of all, your scope of vision of what you want is so limited that, you know, you're missing what's out there, what could be out there for you. Really.
Right. So basically, we don't even understand everything that we could possibly have. So and correct me if I'm wrong, but basically anything we would ask for is going to be far less abundant, and I don't just mean financially abundant, than we can actually have. Is that kind of what you mean? That
is perfect. Exactly. I mean, take a look at me. I never wanted to be, or never had the insight of being a healer or helping people in this way. You know, you know, my dream was actually younger when I wanted to be a doctor to help people, but it never transpired. But now, you know, in essence, you know, I basically, in my business, really, you know, I wanted to get to a place where I could create a program and then sell it for $2 million and relax. That's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So this was far beyond my scope of vision for myself. And becoming a healer is much more rewarding to me, because I help thousands of people, and you know, and the money comes in as well, so which is nice as well. So it's the best of both worlds. And later, I'd like to talk about abundance, because a lot of people have issues with, you know, wealth abundance. But so do you see how that works, Kristen?
Absolutely.
So if you let that spirit happen to you, then you'd be amazed at what the results you get.
So that does, you know, that makes, you know what, you know how I felt when you said that, when you said just, how did you say it? Just connect with, you know, ask how can I connect with the pureness, basically,
the pure
right?
Source? Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So when you said that, I literally felt relief. I felt like, oh God, I don't need to think about it that hard. So does that make sense? Is that a good response?
It does.
I had?
You really don't need to think about it, because it'll just happen to you naturally. And then, you know, your spirit and your thoughts actually start to coincide. So you're in harmony. So basically you're in disharmony when your life is not going well, really.
Okay. So actually, you wanted to talk about abundance. Let's talk about that, because that's where a lot of people are in disharmony, especially when it does come to financial abundance. So go for it.
Right. Well, first of all, what's going on, like, in this world right now is there's a process, you know, the auric field, like, you know, you have your auric field called the chakras, okay? And then above that, there's other auric fields, and, you know, like the city auric fields and the state auric field, and all that stuff kind of gets, you know, and it combines and it works on you, and eventually you get to the universal auric field and beyond that, right? So all those auric fields actually have an effect on you, Okay? So a lot of people now, they're in that financial stress. I mean, a lot of us have lost jobs or done this, or they're under a lot of pressure, whatever. Our financial systems are in moves, things like that, because of that pressure coming through. And that pressure is basically like clarity. You want to be more transparent. And so these financial industries, they're going down, right? Or they're cleaning up, or they're clarifying. Whatever they're doing, they need to be in a place where this transition, this new transition is coming in of that, of more transparency, like a win-win situation for everybody. Okay. So we're going to have a lot of economic distress coming up, although it's going to be a banner year, I think, for the rest of this year. It's going to be a lot of economic distress. And if you're connected to this pure source, like I said before, you'll be taken care of abundance-wise, no matter if it's like money, food, relationships, whatever. Okay? And if you're not, you're going to be sucked up with the auric field or the force of the auric fields from all these other auric fields above you. Okay? Just like animals, who sense danger coming and they get nervous or antsy or anxious. That's what's happening right now. I see a lot of people who are nervous, anxious, and it's not their stuff. It's just what they're feeling.
Interesting, and I so agree with you on that. And part of why I've actually had some of the best years of my life during this sort of economic downturn, I am convinced, is because I didn't. It's almost like I didn't engage in it. I didn't engage in the energy of the panic and all of that. So how do you? Because it is easy. So I am now the voice of everybody listening who's going, that's great, but when I'm surrounded by it, or when I have this negative energy pulling at me from all sides, how do I not engage? How do I stay connected to pure source when all of that is happening in the world around me that, you're actually involved in? How do you do that?
It's really, really easy. And a lot of people, they put like shields around themselves. A lot of energetic type people or spiritual type people. But really, shielding, I mean, it's good, but how about if you just increase your frequency by connecting to or tapping into that pure source? And then you're protected automatically. Just kind of like the sun that doesn't really need protection, right? Because it's just so powerful, right? Or people ask me, is like, well, how do you protect yourself? And I work on hundreds and hundreds of people, in the course of a week. And it's like, well, don't you get any of their junk? I go, no, because I vibrate at such a high level that disease doesn't just, it's like Teflon. It doesn't stay there. And that's what you can do too, is like, once you're connected, it's like you automatically got this protection grid around you that just kind of guides you, into that abundance. And I'm not saying that, everything's going to be, peachy, and you're going to be living a fantasy land. But the things that you go through, okay, the issues that you go through are going to have tools for you there provided. So you can go through them a lot better, a lot happier, okay? That it's not the end, basically, and it's just an experience that you're having, and you're okay with it, and you find better solutions to it as well. The other course, of course, is getting sucked under and, drowning and all that stuff.
Right. Okay. I assume this isn't just for, financial stuff. This is with what happens. Okay. This is a great question. If I do say so myself, no, but this is, I don't know where that came from, but let's say we're, in a relationship with someone and suddenly there's conflict. Okay.
Right.
How do you disengage from the energy of the conflict without it meaning that you disengage from the person? Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And like when I tap into you, it's like almost like a history log, like what type of relationships, that person has had, if that's their issue. And it's like they actually attract the same relationship over and over and over again. And basically what that is that frequency, that they're creating, that they're emanating, just like a radio station, and the people that are out there going, oh, wow, I hear that that I like that music, and and then they get attracted. So, you change your frequency, right? And then you start attracting different people. Or what happens most of the time, or actually what happens all the time, really, is that literally when I change frequencies for people, if they're having issues with their relationship, either that person that they're having issues with, like, switch, they just like, a lot of times they just like transform because they're not, releasing that frequency. So that person doesn't have to be the way they are anymore. Okay? So if they're meant to be together, they get closer. Otherwise, something happens and they, separate. And they'll start to find like their friends kind of like start to disappear, the ones that are no value to them anymore. And then they attract new ones that come into being for them, and without really doing anything. So the only thing you really, really have to do with this type of work is really just notice what you notice. Just be in that present state. Because, when you start judging things like this relationship is bad or whatever,
right?
You're judging what's been created from your higher level. And that's what gets you in trouble.
I see. That makes sense. Okay. So talk to me about how we can energize our inner core for rapid achievement. I love, everybody out there listening is going, yay, rapid achievement. So, so how do we do that?
Well, again, the core essence is really tapping into that inner source. And people always ask me, it's like, well, can you teach me how to do this? And it's like, what's the 1, 2, 3 steps? Because all the other, seminars or whatever that's out there, or self-improvement books or whatever, it's like, okay, you got to go to class and you got to write down an essay to do this or to do that or whatever, right? And it's nothing like that at all. It's just like, if you start to vibrate at a certain frequency, then one, you start acting like that individual that you're becoming a lot faster. Okay? And then two, you start attracting like the people, places, things that help you become that individual at a much faster rate. It's almost like The Secret, the stuff that you learned on, The Secret, but just on steroids, because this actually works for you. Statistically, they were saying that a lot of the people who did The Secret, they, for most of the people, it didn't work because there was that one key ingredient missing. And this is that, missing key ingredient. So basically, if you just let go, tap into yourself, and let, your higher abilities, like, start to guide the show, you'll be tapped in. And this actually goes for people who've been like ill for years and years and years. They go from one illness to the other illness to the other illness, right? They never get well, right? They keep going to doctors. And it's because they have this frequency of like ill health. So no matter what illness they have to have an illness. So you remove that frequency again, and then miraculously they feel fine. Whether it's like, and it depends on the spirit, because obviously, the spirit has a life course. But if your spirit's willing to change, then, you get cured from cancer, or, because I've seen like tumors just totally gone, and they're like stage 3 or stage 4 type cancers. They're totally gone, or they're back to 30 straight out. So, you clean that up, and you start to get purified, and your frequency vibrates at the default state, or that pure essence that you were created from, and then everything seems to work out. It's really simple.
Wow, that's amazing. It's one of those things where I'm listening to it and I'm going, yes, that makes so much sense, and it sort of is resonating in my being, and then my brain is going, well, how the heck can you do that? And wow, that takes a lot of faith, and that sort of thing. But I guess
it doesn't take a lot of faith at all. You don't even have to have that faith. Kristen, I work on people through people, so they don't even know that they're being worked on.
Wow.
Like a lot of like mothers, they come to me and their children show up because their spirit actually wants to get healed, right? But they don't know how. So I work on them through their mothers, and then like a week or two later, they go, they call up their mom and go, Mom, I've decided to go through this treatment or whatever, and they sober up. So you don't even have to have faith in this stuff.
I love that,
really.
and I love that you just said that, and because I actually agree with that. So everybody listening, you don't even have to have faith to, and I agree. I think it's so powerful and it's so true, and it's just a matter of, as you said it's almost like it's our new mantra when we catch ourselves getting, connected, engaged in negative stuff is, how can I best connect to higher source or purest source or whatever it is for you.
Right.
So you said that you would share with us a medi-healing session with us. Is that something that we can do?
Yes. Yes.
And apparently this is something where literally everybody, as you're listening, you can feel results, you can feel it immediately. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah, for about 98% or 95 to 98% of the people do feel something right away, whether it's like a movement or some kind of warmness or something in their being. The other small percentage, they actually feel something like later on. So it doesn't work on like everybody. So. Wow.
Okay. Well, I would love if you would do that with us.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just do like say a 5-minute.
That's perfect.
And this actually works on replays. People, they meditate with me all the time and they listen to the replays, and it still works the same for them. So.
Wow, great.
So we'll get started, and I do a stand-up meditation system.
Okay.
So if everybody can just like stand up, if you're driving, listen to this,
don't stand up.
And if you can't stand up, it's okay. Wherever you're relaxed, but best is standing up, and then we'll get started. And I can like talk while we do this. So we'll do like a group healing and meditation together. And basically, where most meditation have you like leave your body or ascend, this meditation actually brings your spirit into your body. So you start to see the physical reality through your spiritual eyes. And it stays with you all day long rather than being, 1 hour, a half hour that you're in meditation. So we'll get started, and we'll start with, let's start with our fingertips, really. A lot of people, Kristen, they use their hands, they use their fingers, but they really don't pay attention to how often, those fingers are. They really don't even notice them. So you can start by looking at the fingertips and what they do, the jobs that they do, the jobs that they can perform. And once you can really get into that microcosm of just your fingers, it's like this whole new world opens up for you. And that sense of awareness that comes into play when that happens kind of guides you into a relaxed state. Okay? And when you get into this relaxed state, you might start to feel that the tension in your body, perhaps from the neck, a lot of people carry tension around their neck or shoulder area, it starts to release. It's like snapping a finger, and poof, it's pretty much gone. As we go back into our fingers and just looking at our hands, and if you created a computer program, first of all, they probably couldn't create a computer program that could, mimic the hands. So the abilities of your hands in itself is just an amazing feat. And when you start to get into how awesome that ability is, you start to connect with that source that actually created that ability. And then when you start to do that, you might feel a lot lighter, sense of letting go, whether it's your lower back relaxing, in that hip area, hip structure, it's relaxing and letting go of all that tension, whether it's letting go of what you need to do next in a certain situation, So just letting go of any blocks, any tension, anything that you've created in this lifetime, anything that's been created from others, anything that's been created from past lifetimes that you've been brought over. You just let go of that. As easy as just listening to the sound of my voice. And as we start to notice that release, and we're feeling in our thighs, and our knees, and our calves, let's start to feel like a warm sensation go through them, or even a tingling, some type of vibration. It just gives you further confirmation that, well, you're getting more connected to that source that guides everything that you do. And when you do that, you automatically get guided by that source. So just noticing your physical body at this time will automatically connect you to that pure source. So become aware of that. And as we get into our bodies, left off soles of our feet, our ankles, soles of our feet, we can let go of all that tension that's been created. Just notice that tension just release in the soles of your feet and get recycled into the universe. All those frequencies. And even now, if you've never heard me before, so as you start to notice your ankles and all the tension from your body. So, we can let go of all that tension from our past lives, our current experiences, any block that we've had. We can feel those blocks or those frequencies exit our feet, from the soles of our feet, and into the universe. There we go. And unlike other meditations where you disconnect, we really don't want to disconnect because we want our spirit guiding us, the rest of the day, right? So what we do, instead of just disconnecting, we want our spirit there. So all we have to do is just open our eyes and just become aware of our surroundings, of our time and space right here. And in the background, throughout whatever you're doing throughout the day, you can probably feel like an extra presence around you. That's actually your spirit. So just be aware of that after this session. Okay? How do you feel, Kristen?
Amazing. I feel like I weigh 30 pounds less.
Good. I'm so glad. Probably it's all that worrying and all that stuff that we do that we don't need to do because it doesn't help anyway.
Yeah, it's funny. It's the stuff that you don't necessarily even realize is right. It's almost like it's the stuff that's running in the back of your brain that you don't even realize is there. And
True.
Yeah, so having that sort of that awareness on my hands, I started to feel almost like if I were to move my hands around, you'd see like streaks of light where my hands were.
Right. And people do see that.
Really? So, wow. That's cool.
Yeah, when I do seminars, things like that, they actually say that I fade out and all they see is like this bright white light. And some people, if they're like Christian, they'll go, oh, I saw Jesus working through you. Or if they're
right.
Whatever, they say, oh, I saw the Buddha, working through you. So whatever religion that they believe in, it's like that'll pop in for them. So it doesn't really matter. It's not a religious based deal. It's just, to them it is. So that's what they see. But it's more like spiritual. So.
Well, yeah, that was just such I feel very calm. I feel very buoyant. That's exciting. That's a really exciting thing. So actually, what that makes me want to do is find out maybe some stories of some people that you've worked with this, any because I know that people experience rapid transformation with you. So can you share a couple of stories with us?
Sure. The first one is kind of, it's a little bit off. Okay, but I'll share it with you.
Okay, great.
Because it happens to deal with like dead people hanging out. But basically what happened was, I do a lot of remote sessions worldwide, and this lady, she called me up from Israel, and she's been having these severe headaches for the past like 5-6 years. Okay. So, we set up the session, we start talking, and immediately it's like her mother like pops in, and this is through Skype, and it's like, I'm going, who's this lady? She's like right in my face, and I'm going, and I'm sitting there like talking to her just like as if I'm talking to you. Kristen. That's how clear she was to me, And I'm going like, well, who are you? It's like, well, I'm her mom. And she's telling me stories about, her daughter. And I'm relaying this, I'm just saying, well, did you do this at age whatever? Or did you do this at age whatever? And she goes, yeah. It's like, how did you know? It's like, well, and then what happens is basically she starts telling me that she was at an airport, and this is how she died. She was at an airport with her daughter, okay? And all of a sudden she collapses. She goes, God, I have this terrible headache. She collapses right in line and dies right there.
Whoa.
Okay. Yeah. And from that point on, well, one, the mother, because there is no time or space distance, in the other worlds, that mother, she's been living that experience over and over and over again for the past like 5-6 years.
Wow.
From that moment. So basically it's like you have an amnesia, You live an experience and then you go back and like live it again, just like as if it's like the first time. Just like that movie, The 51st Dates. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Yep. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, she just lived that. Yeah, she just relived that whole thing over and over again. But then what happened was, so I'm relaying this, and her, and her daughter's going, that's exactly what happened. And I go, so what happened was I helped release her mother, because it's basically her mother that actually wanted the session with me, because she wanted to get out of the state. And people say that the spirits are pure and you want to connect to your spirit and all that. Spirits aren't that pure. So, they come along with baggage from past lives or family lineage and all that stuff that you bring about. And a lot of that, our issues are caused by that. So when you remove those issues, medical stuff or financial stuff or whatever tends to go away as well. So anyway, I helped her mother, go to a higher light or higher place, vibration, and she felt okay then. Okay. But then like a week later, she called me up and she goes, I haven't had my headaches. And it's like a month or two later, she called me up and she goes, I haven't had any headaches. My relationship has gotten better, with I don't know, her daughter as well, stuff like that. So.
Wow.
And she had gone to doctors for years and years, and they thought it was her eyes, or they thought it was this, or they had, all this stuff. But it was just as simple as that.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. This is strange. And like I said, there have been cases where, like tumors have disappeared. This next one is really, really nice. It's heartwarming. Is this woman, she comes to me with a bad back.
Mm-hmm.
So because I do adjust physically, I can adjust you. And I don't even have to touch you, just like a chiropractor,
Right.
And so basically, I was adjusting her back, and then her son kept popping into the picture, and I'm going, well, what's up with your son? He's like, is he okay? And she just started bawling right there. And she goes, no, I haven't spoken to my son in over 20 years. He's got a drug problem. He's addicted to this, whatever. We haven't spoken or anything like that in over 20 years. So I asked her, I go, well, do you mind if I work on your son? And she goes, no, go ahead. And most of the session was working on her son. And, then she felt good. And we did another session about a month later, and I worked on her son again. And like the week after that session, she emails me and goes, out of the blue, my son called, And she goes, Mom, I've had it with this drug stuff. I'm going into treatment. And he finished treatment a lot faster than normal. And then she sends me like an email during Christmas time and just thanking me so much. And I was totally humbled by the email. And basically he goes, this is the first time I've seen my grandson. And my grandson's 5. So they haven't spoken in over 20 years, So the whole family got reunited.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So, those are the kind of stories. And it's not like, I do the healing, Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But basically what happens is that, I open the gate for you so you can experience that connection, and that connection actually does the healing for you.
I see.
Although I get guided by, like reprogramming you, things like that. I do that for you. So the nice thing is that once you get connected, that expansion, it keeps happening for you. So it's not just like, okay, this is over with. And like, for example, like a chiropractic session, you don't go back to your old adjustment. It just keeps expanding.
Right.
For you, because that connection gets stronger and stronger. Because once you open those floodgates, it's really hard to close.
Right. Truly.
Yep.
Okay, so that's amazing. I mean, it's just, and is there any area of your life where connecting with Source in this way does not, help you create abundance or tap into abundance or manifest abundance?
No, because it's your natural state. Wow. Abundance is your natural right. We've been brought up thousands of years of education, religious, whatever, thinking that there's lack or anything like that. But if you connect to that source, everything is created for you.
That's amazing. And that's part of what I get so excited about, and part of why I was so excited to bring you on is I love exposing people to something that is just a little bit, maybe something that they haven't heard before or heard it in that way. And I just think what you're doing, yes, it is in some ways the most natural thing that any of us could have heard about. So it's funny that we haven't, but I love that.
You're right.
Yeah. And I love that I'm able to bring you to everybody. And I know you put together a special package for everybody. You can simply click on the special offer button that is on this page, and it will take you right there. Mas, if you can let everyone know what we'll find there, that'd be great.
This is really a fantastic package. It's all downloadable, so you can start right away. And it's really a comprehensive package as well, because it affects every aspect of your life, the health, the wealth, personal relationships, and then that spirituality as well. Again, grabbing all 4 corners to bring you into that 360 degrees of abundance. The first product that's out there, it says how to set affirmations that really work. Just statistically, over 98% of the goals that have been set really don't turn out to be anything. And a lot of us actually, we fail our goals, but most importantly, we never follow through with them. So this MP3 actually shows you how to set goals that really help you materialize things. And then also what's behind those goals, right? How to create that push or that drive, right? That turns those goals into reality. That's the secret that we're going to be learning about. I'm going to be helping you instill those goals from spirit level, not the physical level, all right? That way, what will happen is that you get naturally attracted to whatever you need rather than doing it at a physical level as well, making your affirmations come truer faster. The second product is a 30-minute MP3, and it's part of the Frequency Spa series, which is weight loss and eating disorders. A lot of times we see ourselves going into a weight loss program or, say, other issues, but, for example, weight loss program, and, we tend to yo-yo. We tend to lose the weight, and then something happens and we gain the weight back. What we do is go back into what actually causes you to have that weight gain. Okay. And again, it's about all getting healthy, but this is just an example. Obviously, weight loss, eating disorders, you might have the opposite effect as well, where you can't gain the weight. But in this example, I'm just talking about weight gain. So we go back to the core issues of why you're having issues with, say, gaining weight or losing weight. And once those issues are resolved, it's a lot easier to come into and attract foods that are, well, one, naturally just better for you, and then two, easily stay away from foods that aren't that great for you. So it's a natural process, and those habits get instilled with you, so you don't have to, say, die it, right? You don't have to die to be at a healthy weight for you. It's just a natural frequency that gets instilled in you. The next package is really about conquering the mind and healing fear. Fear is, again, a fantastic emotion, but for the most part, most of us have learned to use fear in an improper method. Okay? That's why fear starts to rule us. But in reality, what this MP3, this 30-minute MP3 of a frequency of meta healing that we did, is really about turning fear into fantastic tool for you to use, so you not only can control your fear, but then use that tool to turn those blocks into stepping stones so you can go much further ahead. The next MP3 that we have, it's 15 minutes. It's a frequency meta healing, rejuvenating the body and anti-aging. And really this came about where, I do a lot of sessions in the LA area where they tend to go to, the salons or spas and do, Botox or other dermabrasions or anything like that to help, you look more beautiful or younger and so on. But what they were finding out is that, when the women that came to me and were doing those type of treatments, they started to realize that those treatments were lasting, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, even like 6 to 10 times longer than before the sessions with me. So we decided, if we can do that, and this was just a side benefit. So, we decided to create an actual meta healing where we started to instill or lock you back in time where, again, back to an age where, you were vibrant. You say that beauty that came in, that naturally resilient looking skin or supple skin, all those get locked into a time loop. So you start to age more beautifully, but then also start to look younger on that as well. Just for example, every time people look at me, if they haven't seen me for a while, they say I look a lot younger. So it's really kind of a nice side benefit once you say it. This one, the next 15-minute MP3, again, frequency meta healing, is enlightening the spirit, connection to the pure source. This is really the core of everything that I really teach, and it's really beautiful. Is once you're connected to that pure source, you really don't have to do anything else. If you don't listen to any of the other meditations or CDs that's in this package, I would keep listening to this over and over again, because again, it's not anything I do, but it's really about connecting to pure source. So it's between you and pure source. And once that pure source comes in, your natural beauty, your natural light that you truly are comes out, starts to shine, and that's what starts guiding you into a truer, more positive, say, light and path into your life. And finally, we all want that financial abundance. A lot of times people try so many different ways. In fact, even statistically, again, going back to statistics, a lot of people, that have won lotteries, within 6 to 9 months, what happens to those lottery winnings? They actually lose, if not all, more than what they started out with. So why does that happen? Again, that's because those frequencies of, say, non-wealth are running somewhere within you. So you start to change those frequencies, you instill frequencies of wealth into you, and naturally money or finances start coming in or start getting attracted to you. And I know this sounds way out there, but it's been proven time and time and time again that once the frequencies of wealth start resonating in you, you naturally start attracting, wealth into your life effortlessly, and you transform into a wealthy person. Organic relationships. This pretty much similar to financial abundance, but this is that resonance or frequency resonance of relationships. Most people, they go from relationship to relationship to relationship, and what do they find out? It turns out to be the exact same relationship than they had before. All they did was switch people around. They get the same results, they get the same disconnected feeling or anything like that, right? That happens in a relationship, and that's why we keep searching. But really, that place of search really should turn around and look at what you are sending out to attract the people that you are. So what I do is help you change the frequency that you're sending out, just like a radio station. Not feeling loved, feeling controlled, all those little innuendos of relationships, right? That kind of distorts us. This MP3, organic relationships, is really transforming those frequencies that resonate within you, so you start attracting a different group of individuals for you, whether they're friends, lovers, or even family. Start treating you different. Just as a word of caution, guys, this is quite powerful if that relationship is not meant to be for you. If you are in a current relationship, things might break apart a lot faster for you. Okay? And if it is, it'll start to transform where you get a lot closer. So either way, looking at it down the line, it's the most beneficial for you, but I just want you to be aware of that. And if you're not in a relationship, say a love relationship, you will start getting attracted, or you start forming those habits, right, or personality traits that will, in the end, and I'm not talking years or anything like that, but maybe like weeks or months, okay, that you start changing into that person that can attract, say, the person of that helps you, say, grow independently. So you grow complete, they grow complete, and together you ascend higher into, a more organic relationship. So again, a fantastic package, guys. And you can listen to these, and do the meditations, or they have the same powerful effect if you put them on a loop and listen to them while you're sleeping, or even while at work, or during the day. You don't have to listen to them completely, but just as long as you can hear them in a low tone, that has amazing abilities, we found out as well.
Everybody, this is, it might sound, and I just want to reinforce this, it might sound so simple, and all I want you to do is remember the source of where you've heard all of this, which is from someone who was a programmer. And, self-admittedly, you had no background in any of this. Isn't that right?
Right. I had no background, and, I'm not here to say, how great I am or whatever, but basically my message is to say, hey, look what I've stumbled onto. We all have that ability, and let me guide you on how to get to that ability.
I think that's beautiful. And I think it's important to realize that if this resonated with you, it is something worth checking out. And I say that from my personal experience, that when something resonates with you in this way, it is definitely something worth delving into because, and Mas, I would guess that you would say this as well, that is you being guided, so to speak.
Right.
So definitely.
And I have a rule set too. I only work with people, Kristen, I only work with people that want to change. So that's why I have such a high success rate. So if you do resonate with me, then chances are you're going to change.
See, you just let your secret out of the bag. That's amazing. And I love that because that talks to your credibility. I mean, that you're literally saying, look, I'm not just going to work with everybody. I want to work with people who truly, truly, truly want to change. And we've talked about that on this series a lot. Not just wanting to change, but the willingness to change. And if that's you, and if Mas resonated with you, go check out the link. You can simply click on the special offer button that's on this page, and you will be sent right there. Mas, you've been amazing on this call. Is there anything else that any parting words of wisdom you want to share with us? It's, people for thousands of years have strived to reach
where we're going to reach in this transition. And it's as easy as just connecting to that source. And that's all you really have to do. Just focus on that, and that's it.
Yeah,
you can
beautiful.
do it.
I love that. And so everybody, that's what you're focusing on. Your new mantra is, how can I best connect to pure source? And I think that's so amazing, and it does. For me, at least, that gives me huge amounts of relief. And I know that anytime I've done that in my life, I can look back, and those are the happiest, most abundant times of my life. So obviously, obviously you're right. So thank you so much for joining us. You've just been wonderful, and your energy is just fantastic. So I so appreciate it for everybody listening. I thank you on behalf of them, and for everybody who's listening, I thank you all, because you are the people that really are helping not only move yourselves forward, but the whole planet forward. And I appreciate all of you for that. So Mas, thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and we will hopefully speak with you soon. Absolutely.
Yes, thank you.